There is a place in southern England where enormous stones stand in a circle on an open plain. They have been standing there for more than 5,000 years. And despite centuries of research, excavation, and scientific analysis, no one can fully explain how they got there, or why. This is Stonehenge. And the more you learn about it, the less sense it makes. The stones themselves are the first mystery. The largest ones, called sarcens, weigh up to 25 tons each. They were quarried from a site called Marlborough Downs, roughly 25 miles away. But the smaller stones, known as bluestones, are even more puzzling. They came from the Priestley Hills in Wales, more than 200 miles from where they now stand. Think about that for a moment. No wheels. No cranes. No metal tools. A civilization that had none of these things somehow transported 80 massive stones across mountains, rivers, and open sea, and stood them upright with extraordinary precision. Engineers today have run the calculations. Moving a single bluestone using only ropes, wooden sledges, and human labor would require at least 600 people working in perfect coordination. For 80 stones. Across 200 miles. The sheer scale of effort is almost incomprehensible. And yet someone did it. The question is who, and the answer might surprise you. For most of the 20th century, archaeologists believe Stonehenge was built by the Druids, the ancient Celtic priests known for their woodland rituals and human sacrifices. It was a compelling story. It fit the image. But it was wrong. Modern radiocarbon dating has revealed that Stonehenge was built in multiple phases, beginning around 3000 BC. The Druids did not emerge as a cultural group until around 300 BC, nearly 3,000 years after construction began. Whoever built Stonehenge, it was not them. So who was it? The builders were Neolithic people, early farmers who had arrived in Britain from continental Europe thousands of years earlier. They left no written records. They left no names. They left only the stones. And the stones, it turns out, are far more sophisticated than they appear. Stonehenge is not a random arrangement. It is a precisely engineered astronomical calendar. On the morning of the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the heel stone and shines directly into the center of the monument. On the winter solstice, the setting sun aligns with the opposite axis. The builders knew exactly where the sun would rise and set on specific days of the year, and they designed the entire structure around those alignments. To achieve that kind of precision without modern instruments requires generations of careful observation. It requires mathematics. It requires planning that spans centuries. These were not primitive people stumbling through the dark. They were, by any reasonable measure, astronomers. But why build an astronomical calendar out of 25-ton stones? This is where the theories begin to fracture. Some archaeologists believe Stonehenge was primarily a place of healing, a sacred site where the sick traveled from across Britain seeking miraculous cures. Evidence for this comes from skeletal remains found nearby, which show a high proportion of individuals with serious injuries and chronic illnesses. Many of them traveled from hundreds of miles away, based on chemical analysis of their bones. They came to Stonehenge to be healed, or to die trying. Others believe it was a monument to the dead. Thousands of cremated human remains have been found at the site, dating back to its earliest phases. Some researchers now believe Stonehenge began as a massive cemetery, the largest of its kind in prehistoric Britain. The stones may not have been built to honor the living. They may have been built to house the dead. Then there is the acoustic theory. In 2012, researchers studying the acoustics of Stonehenge discovered something extraordinary. When the monument was complete, when all the stones were standing, the interior created a unique sound environment. Sound bounced and echoed off the stones in ways that would have been deeply disorienting, almost hallucinogenic, to anyone standing inside. Researchers believe this was intentional. Stonehenge may have been designed not just as a visual monument, but as an auditory experience, a place where music, chanting, and ritual sound could be amplified and transformed into something that felt genuinely otherworldly. Imagine standing inside that circle 5,000 years ago. Torches burning. Drums echoing off the stones. The sound wrapping around you from every direction. Whatever ritual was being performed, the architecture itself was designed to make it feel sacred. But here is the detail that archaeology cannot fully explain. The construction of Stonehenge required not just labor and engineering, it required social organization on a scale that should not have existed in Neolithic Britain. To mobilize hundreds of workers, transport stones across 200 miles, and maintain a building project that lasted over 1,000 years, someone had to be in charge. Someone had to feed the workers, coordinate the effort, and enforce a plan across generations. That requires a society with leadership, with hierarchy, with the ability to compel large groups of people to perform extraordinary tasks. And yet the archaeological record from this period shows no evidence of kings, no palaces, no standing army. Whatever power structure made Stonehenge possible has left almost no trace. It appeared, accomplished one of the most ambitious construction projects in human history, and then vanished. In 2008, archaeologists made a discovery that added another layer to the mystery. About 2 miles from Stonehenge, they found the remains of a large wooden structure, a massive circle of timber posts that mirrored the layout of the stone monument. They called it Woodhenge. Between the two sites ran a ceremonial avenue leading to the River Avon. The current theory is that the river represented a boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Woodhenge, made of organic, decaying material, was for the living. Stonehenge, made of permanent, enduring stone, was for the dead. The entire landscape was a single ritual complex spanning miles. Not just a monument. A world. And then, around 1500 BC, it was abandoned. No one knows why. The people who had maintained and used Stonehenge for 1500 years simply stopped coming. The culture that had built it faded. The rituals were forgotten. The stones remained, silent, immovable, waiting for a civilization that no longer remembered why they were built. We have been trying to remember ever since. Every generation brings new tools, new theories, new confidence that this time we have finally cracked it. And every generation discovers new questions it cannot answer. A healing site. A cemetery. An observatory. A temple. A concert hall for the gods. Perhaps it was all of these things at different times to different people. Perhaps the real answer is that Stonehenge meant so many things to so many generations that no single explanation will ever be enough. What we know for certain is this. 5,000 years ago, people with no modern technology looked at an open plain in southern England and decided to build something that would last forever. They succeeded. And they did it without leaving a single word to tell us why. Subscribe to Lost Chronicle, and every week we will take you deeper into the cases that history could not explain.